Hey everybody, it is Sunday, November 29th, and this is Ration Museum Bulletin number 20. Welcome back. Looks like we already got a bit of a crowd. Hey, that's a great start. So we got Gunner, we got Sunshine, we got Zeno, Saga, we got Aletha, we got Pete, we got Renee, we got Gail, we got uh, PXG Doolin. Hey, I saw you subscribed. Hey, welcome. Good to see you. So we got quite a gang starting off. Oh hey, no worries, Gunner. I'm glad you got it. I heard from Sunshine too. She got hers, and I think Smokies is showing up tomorrow. So I didn't get one out to Viper. If anybody hears from Viper, I've been poking saying, "Give me your address" for a couple days now. So got to get that out. But other than that, I think we're on top of the mail. I don't think there was anything that came in terms of mail call between last week and this week, so we don't have any of that to jump into. Though we'll have some fun stuff showing up in a couple weeks potentially. We'll see how it all goes. I snagged a couple 10-man compo rations from the early 90s from the UK, so we'll get to take a look at those. If I understand correctly, those are one meal for 10 men. So it's not the same as one of these ARPs, which the kind I have is, I believe, the last year for its type. So the AR what was it? Ambient ration pack, not operational ration pack, is what we looked at last week. So just doing a quick check. Is audio synced? Because it seems a little weird when I'm watching it on the playback. Just making sure that sound is linked and not like a second behind or something. But yeah, seeing everybody piling in. Hey Brian, hey Jeff. Welcome. Hope you all are having a good Sunday so far. We've got all kinds of options today. Nothing super specific planned. I know a couple weeks ago we talked briefly about looking through some of the food and space pamphlets that have evolved over the years. So I think I'm going to see if we can track those down in the pile back here and take a look through those. Last week we walked through U.S. One meal for 18 persons, UGR Express, and we walked through the British 10-man ration. So that was fun. We can potentially walk through another large ration today. We just need to see. Oh, Smokey's doing a give. Oh, that's right. Yeah. So we better get those numbers up so that one of you can be super lucky. Which holy crap, super nice dude. So yeah, we're already almost halfway there. So thanks everybody. Almost made it last week to 30. It's a symbolic number. Pretty solid effort there. I don't know if any of you ever noticed or checked it out, but I also stream on Twitch once in a while. Not lately, and I am bringing that back, but I don't think I've ever cracked 10 on Twitch, so that's a whole different beast. All right, so let's see. We've got NASA paper, books, and stuff should be in this one, I believe. Let's get some of this stuff out of the way. And I noticed from some of the previous videos that when I'm walking away, it's not following. So it's not this cam, I don't think. It's the laptop, for the sound. So I'll just try and talk louder when I get further across the room, if that works. So let's see. We've got our space box, all kinds of good stuff in here. But I am right now just looking for booklets and pamphlets, which does not look like it's going to be this box, just at a glance. So This is kind of what's become of the food and space pamphlets. They've upgraded a little bit. Oh wait, did this crash, or is this getting one of its lovely unwanted updates? We'll see. Oh wait, turn that off. Turn that off. I don't know what happened there, but any second now we should get that back. Alright, let's see. Just poke at this once or twice. There we go. So, I was going to say, now we've got food and space DVDs in this modern era. I know, Letha. Yeah, pretty much. Every week something's going wrong. That's probably not what you meant, but hey Jeremiah, welcome. AKA the Angry Blacksmith. So let's see, we've got all these new Gemini items that we're going to be extra special careful with. And then we've got all these nice older items, like, can't forget the Russian bread. I just love these little tiny loaves. You know, like these little individual, like, baked loaf of bread kind of thing. Just in the space food stuff. You know, and there's enough of a smell of it through the packaging that I don't think this is going to last forever. No, I'm not pulling out the Gemini ration right now. I'm just currently taking a look through the space rations to see if I had the space paperwork in here. Oh, here's another neat one. This is brownie in the, I believe, space station era, because it's got the you know, the mixed English and Russian, and it's got the you know, the same, like the space station style labeling system. The brownie's authentic, probably, I mean, definitely not flown since it's space station era and nothing comes back. This is a oh, now I have to double check. I have a real one of these and I have a fake one of these, I believe. I just have to double check if this is the fake one or the real one. Russian tea, Russian oatmeal. I mean, not fake, but you know what I mean in terms of reproduction. Space. This one wasn't Gemini. This is in pretty darn good shape for what it might be. This I'm still trying to track down for certain, but this might be Mercury program or extremely early Gemini program. So this one it's fully shrink wrapped and attached to a board for now. I don't intend to get this out anytime soon. But there's been some warping and shrinking of the plastic. But for the most part, it's all still there, including this tablet to go with it. But from the style, this might be Mercury program, which that's what I'm hoping, because then we would have everything covered. We would have Gemini, Mercury, Apollo. We would have a shuttle program throughout the ages, and then we'd have some space station. All right, so I do not believe we're going to find the paperwork in here. And this is the reproduction. Just remembering, I don't have an authentic M&Ms. I have a couple other things, but not an authentic M&Ms. So that's a reproduction. I am going to have to get the master list updated at some point, though. Hey Ruby, hey Fireman, welcome. Good to see you guys. If I'm missing anything, somebody tell me to go back and look. Most folks seem to still be doing their greetings. So oh wait, now I'm crazy. Here we go. So yeah, now I do have to double check which is which. This is the authentic. This is the reproduction. That's right. So seems like the real space MREs, they give you just a little bit of a small serving there. It seems, because from mass, it looks to be about half of what you get. Although these are all definitely one layer, and this is a bunch right here. So the reproduction ones that I have this, you can tell it's kind of textured plastic versus the originals that are just completely clear, at least for this. All right. How did I forget what we had there? Actually, this belongs to this. All right, so we still need to check. Let's see. We went through the Civil Defense Library last time. Here's another neat Russian one. This is almonds. Just vacuum sealing. Really simple, really effective, for long-term storage. All right, so we'll put that away and put this away. M&Ms. I mean, M&Ms are such classics, and it's just no need to change them, no need to do anything special. It's it's just good enough as is. Candy coated chocolate. How can you go wrong? But there's plenty of varieties on M&Ms, and they've been around for forever, and they have their military connections and their major event connections and all that. Yeah, of course the box I almost dropped is the space box. This is still Gemini. All right, so let's see. We've got a handful of space items here. We've got, let's take this for a bit of a walkabout. All right, so let's see. Oh, and hey, Kaylin, welcome. All right, so let's see. We are looking for a library box. Hope you like the labeling on the space box. Everything else gets one little one, but so we are looking for something that might be marked library. Canned survival, food packets, salt rations, sundries, miscellaneous sundries. Nope, not going to be here. So, see some inhalants, nut rolls, interesting things in there. Oh, I don't know if you guys have ever noticed these, this variant over the years. I always liked this concept, just the tube of, ration pack just has the label printed over and over and over again. And it just cuts it where it cuts it. So, you'll see the same thing popping through a couple times. And then the more standard these days. Just single, single label approach where the label's just centered on the package. So you got regular, and you got your repeating. I'm sure it dropped costs a little bit at the time to produce them that way. But maybe not. Maybe it was just the way it was set up. But you'd think it would have or use a little bit more ink to do it that way. Because you're printing kind of wasted chunk. All right, so let's see. We've got detection equipment or radiation detection equipment. We talked about that last week. I could pull that out. Wall, Eastern European, American, Humanitarian, miscellaneous. So these are all rations. I'm not seeing anything that says library just yet. When we look through this, this is the Civil Defense Library. I'm wondering if in one of these, oh, here we go. Library. All right, I'm going to bring this back and pop it on the stand. And I'll be back in a second with the library box. Don't fall down now. All right, let's see. This is a big one. All right. There we go. So, welcome, Pat Miller. Let's see. Anybody else? Oh, hey, Dub C. Welcome. Good to see you guys. All right. So this is a little less specific than the civil defense stuff that we looked through last week. But let's see what we can find in here. Hopefully the NASA stuff is in here too. Right, so we've looked through some of this recently. Let me flip to this view. Let's see. I mean, there's lots and lots of great stuff in here. Like, here's stacks and stacks of 10-in-1s. I want to say this is in Italy. Let me see what it says. Photo material for the second front Italian theater. But if I recall, this ended up being something else. So on the back, we've got the press release that went with this. As convoys reach these shores from America loaded with weapons of war and general supplies of every description, in readiness for the opening of the coming invasion, so parts of England are rapidly being turned into huge stores of this material. So this is England, or this appears to be a drop-off in England. I'm not sure why it's. I guess maybe it's earmarked for use in the Italian theater. It's not. This isn't in Italy. So this is in England, prepping, coming off of ships. And in this particular scene, we're looking at a ton of 10-in-1s. Oh, no problem, sunshine. You can come and go as you please. It's a free country, and I appreciate the thanks for that. No worries at all. I really, like I said, it didn't fit our collection. I've been moving it for years. I'm really happy I found a home. So that's all, and I really appreciate you saying thanks. That's nice of you. Oh, this is great. So this is an example of why you read carefully on your auctions on eBay, because I bought this, and it's nice and all, but for display piece. It's a little small. Merrill and Lee, and a box of sea rations. I have no other context to this, I don't think. Just a neat pic of some soldiers eating some rations. So let's see. Yeah, feel better, Rachel. And Aletha, I think you were saying you were feeling a little better this week than last week. I'm hoping. Oh, here we go. Here's a scorcher. The technical manual for the ration heater, the one that gets bolted into the Humvees. The heater, water, and ration. Just all the repair and maintenance and troubleshooting and all the replacement parts and all that kind of stuff. Keep that in its folder. Always love these ridiculous Japanese ration collector books. There's a handful of them out there, but you know, Japanese collectors exist. They don't cross paths with us too much, but when they do, it's just pure information. These are just chock full of great stuff. You know, at some point, I want to try and read through them or Google Translate through them. I took a few years of Japanese, but not by any means, you know, even conversant, let alone fluent. It takes so much to really pick that up. Yeah, Pete, that was a manual for a ration heater. I know it's water stained, but let's see. The heater itself is this variety. Let's see. Switch to that for a minute. Yeah, so these are neat. You got your power input, and you got your temperature control, off in the middle, low, high. You got your spigot, so pull it out to drink. You know, nothing fancy there. You got your 3 mount points, those 3 yellow pegs. They pop off, and you put them through the frame, and there's a bolt that goes on the other side. And the inner tray, let's see, so you can drop this, or pull this up, I mean, and then you can flip that, and this whole thing comes off. This inner tray comes out, so you can take this out and you can fill it with hot water and put this back in and cook it all up, and then use the spigot to dispense hot water for drinks, or you can put a hot drink in there, or you can leave that little tray inside, fill it with hot water, get it nice and hot, and then you drop your rations in there and clamp the lid back on and cook them up. That's one of the like the on the way to the front kind of feeding concepts. So it's like, you know, while you only have so much time. Oh, and here's a variant, an earlier variant of the same thing. Love these things. At some point we'll get more specific with those. They weigh quite a bit, you know, and they just crushed my finger a little bit. No, that's 24-volt electric stove. One of a couple varieties we have here. We've looked at this one a few times over the streams for sure too. This is one of the neater ones. This is if anybody's ever lived somewhere super cold, you're familiar with like heat tape maybe, or the heat pads that you put on your oil pan. So then you can plug your car in overnight, and in the morning know that, you know, you're going to be able to start it up even if it's like -25, -30 Fahrenheit, -40. So this is the same concept. There is the great big rubberized heat pad with the wiring coiled through it, and this entire pad heats up to pretty darn hot, piping hot, for your MREs. So you slip the entrees between these layers, and they get heated from both sides all the way across. So if you were cooking, let's say if you're cooking 4 in here and nothing else, they're going to heat up really quick. And you've got your 24 volt little adapter there. So 24 volts way more common in military power. I do not know why. I won't pretend. I have not looked that up or don't have any personal info there. These, as we've shown, let me switch back over to this, are magnetic. Whoop, almost. There we go. It's better if all the magnet plates are touching, but yeah, you can just pretty much just slap them on something. See? Nope. Not sticking to the little plate. Slide that back in here. All right, getting distracted. Always getting distracted. Oh. Let's see. So, got not Japanese stuff, but okay, here we go. This is NASA. Just gonna double check these other boxes. Army recipes. That'll be a fun one for another stream. Just regular recipes, not salads. We've already looked at salads quite a bit, though. Always find that fun. Oh, this is a U.S. Cavalry issue, 1917 edition of, let's see, the Mess Officer's Assistant. So, World War I reprint of a 1911, I want to say. I don't know if it was so it wasn't an official Army manual, but it was written by a major, and it was sanctioned by the Cavalry Corps. So I don't know the exact history of this. The major was a commissary officer for the U.S. military at the time, so, or had been. Not that. Oh, these are unrelated books that I've picked up as part of larger auctions. When I'm getting these things, I'll run through these. If anybody's into any of these specifically, let me know. Maybe we can arrange some kind of trade or something for them. But otherwise, I have some of these that aren't too relevant to the museum. Actually, I'll use this one. Let's see, back to this main, and then I'll stop getting distracted. So we've got, let's see. Japanese ordnance, bombs, bomb fuses, landmines, grenades, firing devices, and sabotage devices. Japanese explosive ordnance, Army ammunition, Navy ammunition. Map reading. Counter-guerrilla operations. Chemical reference handbook. Landmine warfare. Okay, that's the stack. These are all manuals that I got as part of larger lots that have nothing to do with ration history. So yeah, if there's any of those in particular that fit part of your collection and you'd be willing to trade some ration item for them, then reach out. My email is down in the, well, down there. So feel free to shoot me a message and we'll chat. Share a live chat with someone you know. Yeah, hey, why not? And it always helps if you guys remember to tap the like button down below. Very much appreciate it for everybody that does. Let's see. So I haven't been catching up on chat too much. Do I know if Humvees still have heater boxes? Why would they put in FRH? Oh, so if they still have them, so I would assume that your likelihood of having access to those heaters is nowhere near as guaranteed as the FRH, itself. Having one in every ration, it means you can always heat your ration. You can always have it hot. So I don't think they would consider cutting that based on the availability of other means of heating it, because there's always chemical heaters. There's always putting it in your mess tin over the fire and boiling it up. But yeah, there still are the heaters for the trucks. I haven't seen the modern generation if they've changed it from the plastic topped one. And be interesting to see if they've improved on that cold weather one, the insulated magnetic slapped on bag. Glad you can mostly smell and taste again, Aletha. Let's see. 24 volts ensured radio compatibility. Oh, just in the sense of like if everybody in NATO countries ran 24 volts through most of their equipment, then you'd be able to run most radios through them too. That could be a good reason for using an otherwise slightly less standard power type. All right, so this belongs with the other NASA stuff, and so do some of these other things back here. So let's see. This is an actual ration. This belongs up here. This is a booklet. This is photo negative or positive or transfer or something. I may not have even opened this yet. So we'll see what this is. I guess I didn't open one of these. This is also NASA. This is NASA. Okay, and this is NASA. So that's what that was. I've been kind of building up a pile of stuff that needed to find its way into this box. So that's all good. Get the box back there. Now let's see what we got. Yeah, flat top. It's practice helps. I've got a couple different streams that I do, and this one, for whatever reason, I don't get as much of butterflies or whatnot when it's coming up. I get excited. I wanna chat with all y'all. I wanna dig back into the museum, and coming in here every week, keeps this project moving, even if a little bit, which is important because it's been stalled for a few years, before this, and it's just hard to fit it in around my day job and all that stuff. But the other stream, I've been having the hardest time just getting that push to go back on the air. It's been about 4 months, other than one test stream. So I feel you. Just do it. That's my only advice. Just do it and sort it out. And keep notes. This went well. This didn't. This went well. This didn't. And just keep iterating. We're 20 streams in for this, and I'd say if you go back to the first, this one's a heck of a lot more dialed in, I would think. Need to figure out a different way. Wait, different way for what? Let's see. Oh, I missed something. But oh. I thought you said get stuck at work at Blizzard, and I was like, oh, is this somebody else that works for Blizzard? There's a couple folks I know that used to, at least. I don't know if anybody in the friend circle still does, but no, during a blizzard. Yeah, don't have to worry about that here in Philly. You know, it snows an inch or two at most when it snows, and then within a day it's all melted. There's no such thing as snow on the ground here, unfortunately. You know, maybe it's fortunately for you or for some folks out there, but for me, I am missing the snow. All right, so we've got this in the package pile, or in the NASA maybe items pile. I don't think that's what this is. I can't recall, but looks like I haven't opened it yet. So just gonna take the path of least resistance and cut up here, and let's see what's in this one. Probably just a general military book. Oh yeah, okay. Ration breakdown point operations, because it's a scorcher. That's the kind of stuff I'm trying to regularly add to the collection. So this will be an interesting one. Okay, so this is going to go with the rest of the general military library. All right, so let's see. We've looked through the great big shuttle book before, I think. That's this one. That's the Shuttle Orbiter Food Systems Galley Source Evaluation Plan. So this was leading up to the development of the essentially the kitchen for the space shuttle program, and this is going through all kinds of final round approvals and checklists and all that sort of stuff. Looking at, and in this case, there's also looking at the forms, looking at the companies, looking at all kinds of extra stuff. Does this meet these criteria? Does this meet those criteria? Et cetera, et cetera. So these are always fun. And this is mainly criteria for the evaluation, it seems. And then this slightly thicker one is the actual full construction plan for the galley and all of its systems. So, the cost of getting there, the number of hours, the profitability, the loss, the etc. And then, this is probably the only part that makes this technically a sensitive, at the time, classified document. There are things like the direct dollar value quotes from, major industry at the time. Fairchild, GE, and Nelson & Johnson were all bidding on this particular contract. So there's all their different costs at each phase. Direct labor hours. For instance, GE believed that the development of this was going to involve 25,957 labor hours. As an estimated cost of $325,720. With just et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. These things are great. Goes through the findings of the different panels. Goes through the mission suitability criteria for scoring, etc., etc. And then it goes through like the scores in each of these areas, it looks like. Individual member score, no change. Program manager, engineering manager. I'll admit I don't know how to read a lot of these, but just lots and lots and lots of corporate speak, but all surrounding such such an interesting part of food service history. The kitchen for a spaceship. That we manufactured half a dozen of or so, and that made it easier and more efficient to to do managed group meals and that sort of stuff in space. So these are really neat books. Just going to get them out of the way. Let's see. And this is a manual for understanding what we were just looking at. So this is just the manual for understanding the other book. Cost factors will be described. Research and development work is generally directed towards stated objectives which have not previously been accomplished. Where a cost-type contract will be executed covering support and services, the importance of indirect cost management is likely to be blah, blah, blah. This is about as dry as it gets, but buried in here are schematics and the results of different evaluations and different approaches and things that didn't actually end up happening and some things that did in terms of the production of the shuttle galley. This is a much shorter summary of everything. Kind of meant more as a press release, but maybe for someone much higher up. It has these. We've talked about it before. These military style Xeroxes or scans or whatever the heck. It's obviously not something that you'd look at and say, "Oh, I know exactly." I mean, maybe people involved in this program can look at this and they'd say, "Well, I know what exactly that is," et cetera, et cetera. Oh, we're looking at I think parts of the uniform right now for water movement maybe, but like these things are nowhere near as clear as the originals likely were. Life support systems, orbiter hardware, etc., etc. Let's see. Heard you like manuals, so I got a manual for your manual. Ah, that's great. And yeah. So you got the nice little manual to explain the two bigger manuals. So you got your hundreds of pages of facts and figures, and you got your nice little 20-pager to let you know what the hundreds of pages are about. Final findings for the Food Shuttle Orbiter System Galley. So again, just summaries. These are all numbers. The likelihood of sticking to budget, the trust factors and stuff that the government had for these particular contractors at the time. This one was tucked in between. Educational programs, Public Affairs Office for the Manned Spacecraft Center, Space Food General Coalition. So this is one of the earliest ones. So this is what we're looking for. We're looking for, this is essentially the food and space book. So I'm going to get these shuttle system books here. We've got a general shuttle system menu, or shuttle mission menu. And you can see we've got day 1 and 5, day 2 and 6, day 3 and 7, day 4 and 8. So in this case, they double up. If it was an 8-day mission, they're only going to have 4 sets of menus. But they've got, their variety throughout the day and throughout the week, and I'm sure there's there's some switching around throughout. See, so and then we've just got lots and lots of these photos of different pieces of food service equipment and whatnot from the space program over the years. So just going to put these to the side. We are looking for Food for Space Flight, the varieties of this pamphlet. Old Gary at Skylab. This is during a training. I want to say this is a Gemini capsule. No, wait, let's see. I think this might be the inside of a Gemini. Just going to have to see which one of these this was. That was during a training. That wasn't in space. Certainly with full color and the door off and all that. And these are just, press release photos for making the, the articles about our spacefaring heroes a little more interesting. This is from July 1969, so pretty important year, pretty important month and year, July 20th, 1969. So this would have been just after the moon landing and return. So while America was still pretty fixated on space travel, I'm sure this photo made its rounds, ending up in a lot of papers talking about, well, what did they eat while they were up there? Let's see, this is this is an attempt to make dinner, but in a training center, out of the multiple parts of a particular meal, canned separately or packaged separately. So just getting through the process of using all these tools. Like you can see, there's a scalpel essentially right there for opening these things up. Just a extra sharp knife. So this is saying, among Skylab's well-organized home comforts will be a kitchen and pantry stocked with a ton of appetizing food ranging from steak to ice cream. Here, astronaut Charles Conrad Jr., in a training orbital workshop at the Manned Spacecraft Center in Houston, tries his hand at fixing dinner. The three-member crews will be on strictly controlled diets to help investigate nutritional requirements in space. But it will be real, even gourmet food this time, not the freeze-dried fare of previous space flights. So this is Skylab, so this would have been early 1970s. So yeah, they were starting already to kind of push away from the idea of rehydrating all your meals in space, but as we can see, they continued through the 70s, through the 80s, through the 90s, and to a degree are still in use in space today. Granted, it's it's a little more difficult to rehydrate a ration than to just heat up a ready-to-eat ration or to just eat it cold, obviously. But I think people still lean towards keeping them in the space program because I don't know about you, but I think they taste a great deal better than thermostabilized. The LRP and MCW ration entrees are just dramatically better. For instance, an M47 patent manual. No, Gunner, but thank you. I appreciate it. I have to say no to literally every single thing that is not food history and military food specific, because otherwise there's just too much. So that's why I end up, if I stumble on something that's not ration related as part of an overall purchase, I'll try to get rid of it. You know, and I don't have any other personal military collecting. There's enough in the room you see behind me to keep me occupied in terms of collecting. Just more photos of astronauts eating in space, that kind of stuff. Oh, always loved this one. It's also Skylab. All right, just moving through trying to find these booklets. So you can see this is we've got a couple drinks back here, and then we've got, you know, the rehydrated meals. Looks like he's in charge of dinner at the moment, so he's getting a few things going at once. So we've got, I'm not sure if these are cookies or sweets or something to that effect. But this is on Space Shuttle Discovery, and this is the galley system that we were just talking about, that you've heard oh so much about. So this is it up close and personal. You know, you can see the systems for water and temperature management, for cleaning, etc. You know, those little netted bags for all the foodstuffs. Hey, old Smokey, welcome. Welcome. Well, wait. Fireman saying, hey, old Smokey, did I miss him popping in? Fireman, you talking to nobody? Don't see him in here just yet. Maybe I'm crazy. Well, everybody's saying hey, so howdy. See, food for spaceflight. Oh, this is just a generic. Went around to schools and whatnot, so comes with just a description. This was you know, this was a pretty complicated eating setup, I would have to say. And you can see still has the so this was in the era of Apollo style bags, and looks like the labels as well. So let's see when this was printed. This is 1977, and it talks about Apollo and Skylab and replacing the stabilized foods of the Gemini and Mercury program. But there were two foods mainly in Mercury program. So the Apollo meals came in these foil outer bags. The Gemini meals came in clear bags in at least some of the cases. And they'd say like meal D, day 4, or whatever on the side. Beef sandwiches. Huh. Cheese sandwiches. So this is the official space cheese sandwich and beef sandwich, not to be confused with the unofficial sandwich that made it to space, which was just tucked into a pocket and made it up there, and then crumbs got all over the place, and they only took a few bites, but came from a local shop. I want to say in Cape Canaveral somewhere. But yeah, the Gemini 4 mission, they had a lot of toast with most of their meals, and they also learned on that one that it was not the best idea. They got a lot of crumbs separating from the toast and getting all over the place. So by the time the Apollo program rolled around, there was less that could make crumbs. But even such, you know, with the little cubed foods and everything, they were still dealing with crumbs as an overall problem, and had to learn some techniques for keeping them at bay. So this is the Space Shuttle food system. So this is the super short version of what those great big manuals go over. And here's a quick picture of the main part of the galley. Let's see. The Apollo Spoon Bowl package, and that's kind of what that soup looked like, but it's got an earlier label style. Proposed shuttle beverage package. So they were still thinking it was going to be the expandable kind that they used in Space Lab, or sorry, Skylab. So that's that kind you see in the back, where as you're drinking it, you can collapse it so that you don't have have the drink kind of bubbling and rolling around on the inside. Salmon Jello salad. I don't know. I just saw that in the chat. Salmon Jello salad. Wait. Original fireman canceled. Old Smoky here. Says who? What? Oh, you were asking if he was here. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. So Smokey's not here at the moment. No worries. Sorry for the confusion there. I just saw that in the chat. I was like, oh, hey. So. Oh, and Ben, welcome. Don't think I said hi already. So yeah, that's a neat pamphlet. Let's see. We're looking for. Oh, this goes with the other docs. Pursuant to the provisions of the Source Evaluation Plan for the Space Shuttle Orbiter Food System Galley, you are hereby appointed to support the Source Evaluation Board in the evaluation of proposals to be received in response to RFP-9 or 9-BC 73-40-7-93P. Request for proposal, RFP. That is a term I don't need to hear today. Got a proposal to write tomorrow, but not today. This is another. Oh. Don't those cubes look appetizing? See, these are strawberry cereal cubes. They don't look very cerealish. Beef and gravy is the contents of this particular packet. It's not focusing. So this was 1968, Manned Spacecraft Center for Houston. The GT-4 food water gun is being shown to reconstitute Gemini space food, which will be carried on the Gemini Titan 4 flight. So this is the actual water gun that is in use on Gemini 4, the one where we've got our ration from. Scissors are used to open packages. So here's some neat books. We've got just a kind of a generic one again. Came with a larger collection of stuff. Space Telescope. I don't think there's going to be much in the way of food in that. I'm going to put that to the side. Just a comparison of the United States and Olympus Mons, the largest volcano in the solar system. Just another promo material for the Hubble. Just some promo photos. Let's see. Just something in here has to be related. Here we go. Space Shuttle Food Systems. So I'll keep that there too. Let's see. So this is neat. We've got this one. Let's see if we can see. You can barely tell, and there's some reflection in the photo itself. Like I'm, looking at the photo, there's reflection photographed in it, so it's hard to tell, but let me get this a little closer. What I'm trying to show is that this label's handwritten, and it says shrimp, and it says something enough to wet the contents, maybe just enough to wet the contents. Then there's one for apple juice, and there's one for potato salad, and then there's these really neat, kind of cube items in a spring-loaded canister. Not sure. Let's see what it says on the back here. See, we've got two types: in-flight food to be carried aboard the Faith 7 during MA9. So Faith 7 was a Mercury mission. Includes previously used bite-sized portions of ready-to-eat food and a new experimental dehydrated variety being tested for use in the Gemini program. Packaged in plastic bags, it is, I believe that was supposed to say combined. Right here it says combined with water and mixed for 5 minutes in the plastic bag before consumption. The three varieties pictured are shrimp, potato salad, and apple juice. There are a number of other varieties from which MA9 pilot Gordon Cooper may choose his menu. And then, let's see, in the corner it says CCMTA, NASA Mercury, Hangar 6, view of astronauts, flight gear showing modifications. Unclassified, item 18. So, yeah, that's, also right along. So if these are potentially the Mercury ones, and these are Gemini, early Gemini, then it's possible that that other one I have is from an earlier Gemini mission than, rather than a late Mercury mission, because it doesn't look like this variety so much. Yeah, there you go, Gunner. Put it on eBay. You've got a $200 manual there. See, that's don't just throw it at a stranger. Go sell it. Buy rations. Looks like oxen bullion. Yeah, the strawberry cubes. I'm assuming you mean from a couple photos back. Yeah, it really does. We've looked at this one before. Astronaut from early Gemini and Mercury flight. So this looks a lot like back in the beginning of the photo pile we saw that one inside. There we go. Yeah. So this is inside a Gemini or Mercury capsule. Not the same photo, obviously, but and I'm not sure why this one's like a transparency for a projector. If there was a separate kind of storage for those. Let's see. And then the last item in this pile is the one that we just looked through the other day. So that's aboard the space shuttle. Just a general, run through all the different systems and, the experiments and etc. But it has a great section on food that I really thought was interesting and worth adding to the collection. So let's see. So we've got some stuff to get out of, get rid of here in terms of some extra packaging and trash we don't need anymore. And then we've got these books to potentially find a new home for, and just some empty packaging. But I got to be careful when doing packaging throwaways with this kind of stuff, because all these are photos, you know, half the time. Right, so I'll put the rest of this NASA stuff in here. You know, and a photo's not gonna jump out, it's still there. So, okay. So, all right, we've got, let's try and put them in order. Let's see, food technology, reprinted from food technology. So this was not necessarily made as a specific NASA pamphlet initially. It's reprinted based on a paper presented at the 37th annual meeting of the Institute of Food Technologies in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on June 5th through the 8th of 1977. Interesting. So that's a 1977 just space shuttle kind of info pamphlet, but then the rest of these are more official NASA food books. So astronaut Joe Allen forces orange drink out of a beverage container through the straw. All right, so let's add something to this experience, and let's look at some of these items while we're going through it. Oh, what is this one again? Oh, that is seeds. Ooh, these shelves are sharp. I've cut myself on these a number of times. Just, I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. I just realized this is the first stream since then, so hope everybody had a decent meal. I know it can be hard. A lot of us are, you know, working long hours and can't get to see family because of the travel restrictions and, you know, just general safety sake and all that. So, you know, I know it's for anybody who got just a little bit of overlap with their family and got to have a nice Thanksgiving dinner. It probably meant quite a bit more than it normally does, because this has been an interesting year, to say the least. Let's see, just moving some stuff out of the way. We're going to grab the mirror collection, MIR collection. So there we go. So we're looking right here at the drink tray. And we're just going to start right off. So that's orange juice. Let's see. It's breakfast. This is also breakfast, I believe. Yep. One of these might be a drink. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I see the drink. So we've got okay. So he's drinking one of these. So this is a orange grapefruit drink. As you can tell, I mean, you can barely tell if I push on it. It's still in there, and it's still technically drinkable, I would assume. But you attach it through this point here. You would put it against the shuttle system galley. Has a needle that you would punch right through there and into the package and fill it with water, and then you put a straw into there, and this will bubble over a bit. This will bubble over a bit when it's filled up, and then you can kind of press on that to drink through the straw. And you can see that's what he's doing with his thumb right there. But I loved this era for the shuttle, or I mean for the space food. Just it seemed so, you know, so permanent at the time. How industrialized the process had gotten. You know, we were sending people up pretty often. They were cranking out these these hard trays. They fit with the food systems tray. They fit with the galley. It was it was the standard for a good a good couple years there. But then all of a sudden it just switched to more pouched foods. The plastic shell was a bit too cumbersome and made too much waste after they were done. So this particular one went to space with astronaut David Wolf, and came back down. He brought back a handful of pieces, and they were auctioned off a few years ago, and I got the set of, I believe, 4 of these trays, 1 tin of chocolate pudding, a canister of multivitamins, and peanut butter. Just, and this one I'll never separate from the rest of the group because there's nothing specific that says that it's, space food. It's just military peanut butter, by Kern Foods. So it's it shows that even in the early 80s, there were MRE components going up into space. So, what's that, Smitty? Hey, from Canada. Oh, yeah, welcome. Glad you're joining, Smitty. Good to see you. Informative. Well, thanks. Thanks, Aletha. That's kind of you. I don't know. I'm easily distracted and go on tangents quite regularly. So I don't know how informative these streams really are so much as, hey, let's just look at a bunch of stuff. So this same picture, I believe, was in that larger book. In this book, is it not? Oh, opened right to it. Okay, that was meant to be. So, yeah, starting to recognize pictures between the books. Come on, NASA, you're getting lazy. So, or you were getting lazy in 1977 or whatever this was. Imagine it's the year 2000 and you are visiting a friend who lives and works in an orbiting community high above the planet. Yeah, okay. We're a little bit ambitious there. So here we can see a little more detail on a lot of these. Let's see here. Get in a little closer. So that's the tray type that we're looking at right now, the rehydrating package. And they were considered a bit too bulky. They were considered a bit too annoying to use and to cut and to eat out of. But I'm sure there were some astronauts that had nostalgia for them when they switched to mainly the clear plastic bags. You can see they were already doing thermostabilized food. So let's see exactly when this was. I'm going to guess early 1980s for this edition. Let's see. This is a 1986 edition. So I was wrong. Late 1980s or mid 1980s, depending on how you want to look at it. So all of these would have their own. The food type would be prefaced as, R or TS or NF or so. Beef, steak. Here's a neat, for instance, the I foods, the irradiated foods. Beef, steak, and smoked turkey are the only irradiated products currently used on the shuttle. They are cooked, packaged in flexible foil laminated pouches, and sterilized by exposure to ionizing radiation, so they are stable at ambient temperature. interesting. Ionized meat. I guess it kills anything that could have been alive bacteria-wise to ionize something. Let's see. I have a photographic memory. I hear or see something and normally remember it. Yeah, it's like it's hiding in the background. You see the same photo again, and it's just, nope, I'm certain that's somewhere. Cyan is going absolutely crazy not being able to come here. Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, it's just, in these trying and uncertain times, now more than ever, we have to be blah 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 blah. I won't go into that. I definitely missed family members. On Thanksgiving, would have loved to see a much larger group, but can't get what we want all the time, right? So we'll all make our sacrifices. And not seeing each other is pretty small compared to some of the much larger sacrifices that folks make every day. So I'm not gonna worry too much about that for now. So we've got the thermostabilized food, so that's more like the MRE entrees. So they're heat processed to destroy deleterious. I think I'm learning a new word here. Deleterious microorganisms. I did not. Okay. I'm assuming it means something like dangerous. Yeah, Jeremiah, I think you might be right to some degree. But anyway, that's probably going way too far. I'll stop. I mean, for me and for the museum, I'll stay out of it. Maybe I'll fire up Ruler Yak Eats Some Food and talks about Crazy Theories Day instead of the museum stream. But while I'm streaming for the museum, I'll try and stay out of it. Intermediate moisture foods. So we saw some of these in one of the other pictures, and I wasn't sure what those are, but it makes more sense now that it's something like apricots or fruit or something that isn't necessarily a whole wet pack meal. But let's see. So you were just saying about cyan, but here we got cyanide cookies, different but similar sounding. So welcome, cyanide. Deleterious means causing harm. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Oh God, the Mart of Walls. Yeah, no, thank you. I went to one a couple, maybe a month ago, and it was just ripped to pieces. It was a madhouse. Just everything in the aisles, people just tearing packages opening, taking out what they wanted, and just walking out the front door. Like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna stop me? And it wasn't during unrest or anything. It was just, a free for all madhouse in there. And I had gone to pick something up because it said curbside was going to take 6 hours, and it's like, why? They have 10 in stock, and oh well. But silly me, they didn't actually have any in stock, and I was the crazy person for listening to the site. Anyway, I'll move on from that. So yeah, we've got ionized food, thermostabilized food. What was it? Intermediate moisture food, rehydratable. But here we see standard menu, similar to that page that I had printed out. So you can see day by day. This isn't an overlapping one, so this is STS 9 was going to be up for 7 days. Man, those early numbers. Looks like a pretty good mix of food for everybody. Lots of fun menus. Got chicken a la king and chicken and rice in the same meal. Interesting. Frankfurter's potato patty, green beans. And speaking of, so you see right here, Frankfurter's T. So that's the 5 fingers of death. Potato patty, R. That's the rehydratable potato patty. Green beans and broccoli, R. That's going to be one of the trays. Strawberries, R. That's going to be this tray, specifically. Just I love that some of these just right off the menu. That's what we're talking about. So you can see it's hard. It's hard with the camera in here and the overhead lighting and everything to get real color out of everything. But this is actually pretty close on screen to reality. It is more yellow than red, but you can see there's some redness to the dust and everything that's in there. But I don't think I'd trust these necessarily if they were rehydrated, but I'm never rehydrating any of these. These are, there's only so many of these that ever existed. Most of them burned up, as opposed to being brought back from a space station. And I don't know how many out there can claim to match what we're talking about here in terms of the amount of time in space. So these meals spent almost an entire year on a space station. That's just amazing. Like, food that's been away from the surface of the planet the longest. Maybe that's the record on this set. But it's just neat. All the things that we are used to that astronauts were used to as well. Things that just overlap. Pineapple tea. So thermostabilized pineapple, also MRE style. Applesauce was MRE style. Tuna was MRE style. There's all kinds of things that were NATIC, NATIC research, NATIC approved U.S. MRE entrees and side dishes that went to space. There are also, as things went on, thermostabilized meals that were made specifically for the shuttle program, and then later the ISS program, where it was a short run. Only so many ever produced. As a for instance. So here's a for instance, not flown because it's International Space Station era. So again, nothing comes back. Nothing comes back from the space station for food, food-wise, unless there was some specific mission one that says, and we're going to bring it back to give it away. I mean, I don't know. Like, everything else just gets trashed. So you eat this or not, and then the Soyuz, when it docks with the space shuttle, there's two main compartments left inside, and one of them is going to be used almost exclusively, exclusively for trash during its time docked with the space station. And this was just the general conveyance for almost 20 years. So you would fill the rear portion with trash and then seal it off. And then when using the Soyuz to return astronauts and cosmonauts, etc., back to the surface of the Earth, it would separate, and then at the right stage, it would separate off the trash compartment, essentially. That was used for bringing supplies, food, experiments, equipment up to the space station. So that section gets filled with the empty bags, the meals they don't eat, the whatever it happens to be that they don't need. And then at the right stage, it separates from the craft, and then it kind of skips off the atmosphere like skipping a stone on a lake, and breaks itself into pieces and catches on fire and burns up, and it comes down as, microparticulate, that kind of stuff. So we've probably all had an atom or two of a space meal, float through our world at some point and not known it. But they don't come back. So this one, sorry, long way of saying this is not flown. This was produced for space, for space station flight, or I mean a trip to the space station, but was not used. So this is from September 2009. This is a short run beef tips with mushrooms. So this is not an official MRE. This is one of those, like, they only produce 10 kind of things. So, and it's neat that there's more of that these days. But in the early 80s, in the mid 80s, they were just sticking whatever was convenient could go into the shuttle system's galley, and they could overload it because the whole ship was going up and the whole ship was coming back. So, they'd have all their different, meal options. You'd have all these different varieties for people to choose from, and then whatever was left, there'd be, crews that stripped the shuttle back down and, evaluated all the equipment and all that kind of stuff. And in between, they'd take out all the rations, and, clean and clear the galley. And at some point, before the next mission, it would all get packaged and loaded and strapped back up in these style shelf, inserts. And those crews would keep some of these items. Fortunately, a lot of them just threw it all away. But they'd keep some of these items, and bit by bit, they've made it out into the public. So we have some flown stuff and some not flown stuff from a lot of different eras. And thankfully, space collecting has always been the kind of thing where somebody can take a bit of a risk buying a space item and know that there's going to be somebody interested in it. So people don't get, so you don't see a lot of stuff that just has no home or finds no one to buy them, because everybody knows for the most part whatever they get is going to continue to slowly increase in value, and there's going to be a huge market for it. People collect space, so thankfully that means for us that a lot of this stuff is available for collections and for displays and that sort of thing. If I ever felt like I had so much space food that I could finally eat something, I'll share it with everybody. But for now, that's not even on the radar. This stuff is still rare enough that it just doesn't seem likely. Let's see. I guess you guys are talking about masks with noses and wires and wearing and etc. I've had the same one for most of this. It was a balaclava that I already had, and I just cut the skull cap portion out and stitched it back down, so it goes around, lift up, lift down. It works. And I have a digital one that just freaked people out, so I stopped wearing that. Ran an eBay search for space rations. Yeah, there's I have a couple saved ones that go off all the time to let me know when something rare is showing up, and occasionally there's some neat stuff. But for the most part, it's a lot of the packaged, like, astronaut ice cream and astronaut steak dinner and that kind of stuff, and then all the Russian stuff that's just from a vending machine. Like, don't spend don't spend $50 on one of these. These are worth, in Russia, $2, a buck, something like that. So 10 to 15 bucks to get one shipped over. Maybe if you really want to try one. I got a bunch early on. I wanted to try these things, so they're neat. But they are not official space food. They as much as they say space food on them, they're a commercial product. And then a lot of the other stuff is from the same factory, but it's people just taking them out of the factory and reselling. Now, this might be actual space program. No, this is probably not. Let's see. One of these was. Okay, this is more like it. So this one has the standard label at least, but I think these are most likely both civilian too, or just not flown or not intended to fly. But yeah, if you're gonna start looking at space food stuff, just be careful, because there is a lot of civilian stuff passed off as official, especially in the Russian side of things. But a lot of these individual pieces, some of them pop up for $100, $50, and then you realize you're sitting on something that's worth a few thousand. Like there's a few of these missions where folks pay $7,000-8,000 for a spoon. Like, it's just insane. Um, Space ice cream, Pete. Yeah, that's what pops up everywhere. I like the stuff. I don't know. I just have the like general like urban legend kind of stuff around the ice cream. So the general urban legend or whatever is that astronauts hate it. It tasted like styrofoam because smell is part of taste. These things don't smell like anything in space and thus don't eat well. The astronaut ice cream, but I don't know. I don't have that. I don't have anything official to back that up. I think they're really tasty. I could see them still being tasty in space. And then there's the other astronaut meals that are pretty much just Oregon freeze dried kind of stuff. Uh, well, Smitty, good seeing you as always. Have a good rest of your Sunday. Freeze dried space Skittles. Oh, you want a freeze dryer? Oh man. When Ron Paul was a spokesman for a freeze drying company for a little bit, I was tempted. I was really tempted. Just because I heard his ad all the time. But yeah, whole freeze dryer. Oh no, you just mean just freeze dried Skittles? Okay, yeah, no, you don't mean just freeze dried Skittles. Okay. Um, yeah, freeze dryer is, that's next level. That's when you can start getting super cheap canned stuff, spread it out on a tray, and turn it into, something worth 10 times more. Certainly not cheap to fill your end of the world supply with freeze dried food. Though it is the best. It will last the longest. It will taste the best. It will preserve the nutritional quality of the food the longest. Freeze drying is the best for long-term storage. Hey, Smokey. Well, this time, there we go. Hey, no worries, Smokey. It's never on time or late. There's always the restream, though we love to talk to everybody when they're here. So, um, glad to see you. CD burners were over 2,000. Hey, you're not wrong. uh, all kinds of equipment's just leaps and bounds, gotten so much better over time. So yeah, just keep an eye out and be patient and tune your hobbies and your collecting to things that aren't necessarily so expensive in the short term, and you'd be surprised how fast technology is changing in terms of cost and stuff. We're barely through this. Let's keep on going. Oh, you can see some of the canned fruit and stuff. So I was wrong. If that's the pineapple that's on these menus, that's also thermostabilized, but that's not pouch thermostabilized. Canned thermostabilized. And that's gonna be like one of these. So you'll hear people talk about these stickers. You'll hear people talk about pen marks, all that sort of stuff. There is no rhyme or reason in the sense that there is no guaranteed labeling. Looking at one of these that's going to tell you whether or not a product has been flown. Just there won't be. So either you have some credible provenance, or you have somebody that can look up the serial numbers, or there's some means of doing some validation, or it's a gamble and you have no idea and it's just a nice item to have in the collection. There's a number of those in this collection that we won't be able to prove one way or another unless we get someone to look it up and verify it someday, if that's even possible with some of these items. But for instance, like we've got a brown sticker, and it is a sticker. It's almost impossible to tell. Maybe if I get just the right angle, you can see that there's an edge to that. Yeah, no. But a brown sticker, no slash, no pen, no check, no anything like that. And this did, for certain, spend nearly an entire year on the Mir space station. MIR, not MIRROR. Just I always it sounds like I'm saying mirror, mirror, because I say, oh hey, look in the mirror, not look in the mirror. But yeah, I don't have any of the stabilized fruit, but this is a little tin of chocolate pudding. If anything was ever tempting, it's just a little snack, a nice little space snack. But nope, 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 nope. 24 at the moment, Smokey. We did bump up a little closer, but maybe I could if we pause for just a second, I can get the word out one more time. Let's see. We'll grab the shareable link here. Let me see if I can toss this in the Discord and get a couple more people to jump over. We'll give that a moment to spin up, and then I'm just gonna give it one more push. No ill effects from last night's meal. You finished it? Wow. Yeah, that looked good. And then I wasn't certain there for a little bit when you took the first bite, but that's the fun of this stuff, right, Smokey? That cookie though, that drove me to find one so that I could do a day late cheers and join you in one. Here we go. So I never know how to read the date schemes on these. 427912. So might be the 279th day of 1994. With maybe it was at noon or something. So right off the bat, a little different. The top stuck to the packaging a little. Looks fine, but it's not going to be that ultra shiny all the way across. So you see it's insanely shiny in most of it, but for whatever reason, little sticking to the outer edge. We got nothing to worry about, seems like. So down the hatch. Oh. Hmm. Hmm. Well, Connor, I think this one might be closer to what you've been saying. There is a somewhat awful taste to this. All right, gonna try one more time. Let's see, Discord's up. I'm just gonna bounce this through a couple of these channels real quick, and then we'll see if we get a few more folks. Let's see. Streamer promotion. Okay, that's the one I want. All right, we'll put this down. All right, let's see. Oh wow, this is not. I'm gonna try and take another bite, and we'll see. We'll see how this goes. All right. Man, call that good for the moment. And let's see. Maybe. All right. So it smells. Is my tongue swelling? It actually does feel a little weird. A little, almost the same feeling as if I burned it. Hmm. Hmm. Oh wow. This is no good. But the center's almost good. So let me switch cameras. So I don't know if you can really tell. Let's see if I can get some light a little better on here. So the center is pretty light, tastes pretty normal. The edges are substantially darker. So all around the outside, it's been kind of coming in. Yeah, this is rancid for sure. Nah. Aw. Yeah. There's nothing. Hmm, hmm. There's nothing good about this one. Yeah. And I was saying in Smokey's chat last night, I've had so many good ones and only a few that went bad. This one is bad. This one has that like it's a really specific taste. Like it's a really specific thing when one of these older compressed cookie bars goes bad. Um, this is the same flavor. Yeah, this is the same awful flavor as those orange cereal bars that were in the LRP I ate maybe almost 2 months ago. Um, that one was just a cereal bar, but it had milk in it, I think. No, wait, no, that didn't have milk in it. That was just a cereal bar. That was pretty awful. Um, this, yeah, this has some horrifying aftertaste that's just sticking with me right now. I think somebody had said it, and I thought it was Gunner, so apologies if not, but that the old oatmeal cookie bars can sometimes taste like vomit. And I don't have, a long, list of things to compare it to, but that's not a terrible way to describe it. That tastes really, really awful. Um, I'm gonna leave the other half the cookie for the rats. No, I can't. It's burning the back of my throat. I can feel it in my mouth. It's got the corners of my tongue thing going on. It's just that one was no good. That's a shame. Um, I was looking forward to that. Aletha asked a few minutes ago, do I have a pile of old brown bag freeze-dried fruit? It is getting smaller every day. Well, not every day. It's getting smaller every few months to, a couple times a year. And I'm afraid that someday soon it'll be gone. But yes, I do, because it's awesome. The freeze-dried fruit's just like the best stuff. Those, I haven't had a bad one yet. So, knock on wood, that continues to, so that continues to be my luck there. Mainly just the freeze-dried peaches at this point is all I have. I had some freeze-dried fruit, like the fruit cocktail, but I think I had the last one of those 2 years ago. But now I probably have 6 or 7 freeze-dried peaches left, and that's about it. What I do have a crud ton of are I have a crud ton of early 90s just crackers and maybe 20 or 25 pound cakes. Late 80s, early 90s pound cakes. So, I mean, I appreciate all the efforts everybody's taken to drive folks here. No sound. What? Let's see. Let me. Oh, there it goes. Okay. I don't know what that was. I didn't change anything. I blame the interwebs. You know, we're going to be putting more effort into social media and taking advantage of the traffic that we already have that we're not utilizing. So, excuse me, I noticed that the rationmuseum.com site gets a few hundred visitors a week, even though there's nothing there almost at all. So, really need to put some effort over the next few weeks into getting content into that site, relaunching it, simplifying it, and tying it back to this stream. And I've got to put some effort into making some videos that are 10 minutes long, 20 minutes long, that are highlights either of this or just, you know, something neat that we can do as, you know, at the museum that we can share. So piece by piece, we got to flesh this out and drive some folks this way. Yeah, I got kind of the opposite effect. I went and reposted the link on a couple streaming forums, and you know the numbers started going down immediately. So probably just from me taking 2 minutes and not talking to anybody and leaving and going and working on that. Didn't get a hit for the site when you Googled it. Ration Museum. The first result for me, but you know that is a little biased. And Joe, hey, I see you joined. Welcome. No worries missing the stream. You know, you can always restart as soon as it's uploaded after the video. Let's see. Let me get back to looking at some of these. Just in true museum stream fashion, we're burning through the time and barely got through the the stated goal of looking at some of these NASA food pamphlets over the years. Hey, thanks everybody for the likes, by the way. You know, I know it helps at some level. So here's a really good breakdown of these packages. You know, they're saying how to drink them, how to eat them, and now you can see in this one what they look like when they're rehydrated. So again, we're talking about, you know, here's an orange juice, just like this. Well, it's an orange grapefruit, but you know, it's definitely changed color a little bit over the years, but I'm sure it would have been, you know, pretty normal. And not sure what the other piece he has there, but then it looks like he's having probably something very similar to one of these. We're looking at what looks like some chicken in there. Let's see, get that a little closer. You know, so quite possible he was rehydrating one of these sweet and sour chickens, something like that. Numbness on the top of my mouth right now, so just a little bit. And that taste is just sticking with me. I hate it when one of those cookies is bad. I love those things so much, you know, it's such a shame. And they'll never make another one again, you know, in the same sense. Like, I'm not sure if they still make them with the LRPs and MCWs. Phillies calming down again, Smokey. You know, and Pete. Yeah, it was a little nuts there, but yeah, it's pretty much quiet again at least. I had this app on my phone that'll tell you every single time police or fire or somebody are called to the scene, and then keep giving you updates throughout, and then let regular folks go out and stream video from that area or whatever. It's called Citizen. It's I don't know. It's more trouble than it's worth, honestly, as soon as things start dying back down like they've been, because then you start hearing about every single little thing that's going on in terms of crime, and it gives you the impression that you're just surrounded by crime all the time, when 99 times out of 100, you're not going to notice the little day-to-day crime that goes on in your neighborhood unless you're out seeking it. So for the most part, during the crazy unrest, I wanted to know if anything major was happening right around me, but I uninstalled everything a few days ago and just, get to sigh a little bit of a relief. I don't have something pinging and screaming in the background every other hour. Just, oh my God, somebody got shot 2 blocks away or whatever it happens to be. And right now things are pretty stable in Philly again. We'll see how long that lasts, but I'll just keep my head down and stay out of any crazy zones when it's going on. It's easy enough for me. I've had my days of protesting. I've had my days of all that stuff when I was younger. I don't need to get involved right now, so I'll just stay out of it. So whoop, bump that. Different ways that food was prepped and taken up there. We've got these convection oven, which shows that the trays themselves could be put directly into the little oven, which is neat. A better look at the rehydrating system. So you can see here that the tray socketed into, I would assume, probably under some kind of spring loading or some pneumatic pressure or something, just the way he's holding it. Probably have to pull it away. Or I mean, it probably pulls itself in. Just, I don't know. But it will line up. So just as an example, it looks like you'd put it in. It's it's going to have the notch at the bottom. It's going to go straight on in. This little notch piece is going to go straight on in against this needle, puncture it, and then depending on the meal, it's going to tell you how much water to add. Like for instance, this one's 3 ounces of hot water, and then you leave it for 5 to 10 minutes. I'm sure most of them are going to be similar. So this drink is 8 ounces of cold water, 2 to 5 minutes to rehydrate. So you would need to know what you were putting in there and put a different amount of liquid, hot or cold, based on what you're eating. And there's the galley with all its doors opened up. And everything that was in the pantry on flights 1 through 4. We were looking at STS-9's menu a little bit further back, I think. Yep. After STS-9. Got it. So after STS-9. So I don't know for how long, but that was the standard fare. And this was the earliest stuff. So they just kind of sent up a bunch of servings of everything in more of a large pile, as opposed to breaking it into meals. So we had everything from turkey tetrazzini to sausage patties to rice pilaf. I mean, a lot of these menus are still, group ration menus and whatnot today. And all the drinks, condiments. Pepper sauce is pretty cherished up there. Because smell travels and works completely differently in space than it does here. They really want something to kick up the taste factor of everything they're eating. So the hot sauce and mustard and whatnot really get used. Let's see. So that's this one. Space Shuttle Food Systems, 1986. This was a 1982 Food for Spaceflight. Let's see what we overlap on here. So this is a neat view. So this is an unreconstituted. So this is just the raw meals, early shuttle program, and then the same meal reconstituted. So you can see water's been pumped into each of these, and it's cooked in there, or rehydrated, whatever it happens to be. So again, uncooked versus rehydrated. The original galley had, or the original galley designs had these big fold-out trays for prepping meals that made it through to the first iteration, but didn't stick forever. And there's that same shot of the food going in, and that same shot of the oven. And in this iteration of the galley, the rehydrator is underneath the main unit. And since this was early, this is in the STS 1234 era, so this is what the menu was going to be like. This was just, here are all the items that are on on the ship. And if we want more detail, we can see that this one has the actual amounts of every item. So this is just a big old list, and then it reiterates that same list that we looked at before: thermostabilized, irradiated, intermediate moisture, freeze-dried, and rehydratable, and natural form. Natural form is stuff like peanuts and cashews, and certain things that don't need anything at all done with them, and that didn't have to go through thermostabilization. Looking at this list, we've got nuts, almonds, cashews, peanuts. We've got fruit cake is normal form. Food bar, almond crunch, chocolate chip, granola raisin, peanut butter granola. Those were all the food bars in natural form. Shortbread cookies, graham crackers, pecan cookies, seedless rye bread. These are all the natural form items in the first 4 shuttle missions. Everything else was radiated, dehydrated, freeze-dried, thermostabilized, more complicated. A nice photo on the back of of a full meal. And it's got that feeling, to a degree that like you're going out and you're getting something from the A&W, or you're getting something, from just the old school, get your diner meal brought out to you on a tray and attached to the side of your car. It's the feeling I get every time I look at one of these. Is that like a soda can? No, this is so this is it could either be fruit, it could be pudding, something like that, but that's one of these. So let's see, we've got very distinct top, So yeah, you'd have these socketed into the tray, and that's what those little rubber things, they could grip onto the sides of the little plastic trays or these little things. But yeah, in this case, it's chocolate pudding, but it seemed like most of them were fruit and other various snacks. The Frankfurters, oddly enough, aren't in one of those. They're just a regular MRE meal or MRE entree. So we got food for space. This one goes back a little further. This is, let's see. See if there's a date on this inside. So, before descent into space, astronauts' food undergoes lengthy research and testing, some of the most important of which is taste testing by the men who will have to eat it. Skylab meals, for instance, were sampled by astronauts and program officials as well. The compartmentalized food trays are the same type that will be used in the orbiting Skylab to heat the food and eat from. So, this actual big old unit was also the heater for the meal. Here's a variety. See, the addition of bread and sandwich spreads, such as these used in Apollo 14 crew, was a welcome one into the space menu, with each astronaut having a selection of white rye and cheese-flavored bread and peanut butter, jelly, or cheddar cheese spreads, or ham, tuna, and chicken salad. So these peanut butter and cheese spreads look like they could be the predecessors to what we eventually got in the MRE. The jelly we can see is packed by the Packet Research Corporation. Let's see if I can get that clear enough. But I don't see any such indications on the peanut butter or cheddar cheese spread who made them. So we can't say like, oh, hey, Kern Foods, there we go. Yeah, and then the bread. Just bread. And mostly for the Apollo missions, they had to give them some small amount of that sort of thing to have that morale factor. One of them was up during either Thanksgiving or Christmas and had a special meal. Man, I still have that taste of that cookie in my mouth. I really wish that was a good one. I look forward to those. They're rare. They're few and far between. So the spoon bowl package with its wider opening. So that's the Ziploc resealable bottom of the side filled pouch. I don't think I have any examples in that exact variety. And then you can see up here just general rations from the Apollo program between coffee, bacon squares, peaches. Yeah, I'd love to try one of those bacon squares. Like if I could go back in time and have anything from the Apollo or Gemini program, just one meal, it would be one of their breakfasts. To get the orange juice, the bacon, just the potatoes, just all in cubes. I can only imagine. I'm sure it's not as good as just going to Denny's, but it's its own thing. So here's Mercury. We saw examples of those a little earlier. These are those spring-loaded cubes. Well, actually, this package doesn't look like the spring-loaded kind. And then there's like similar to survival tabs, just compressed food tablets. And then there's a tube of applesauce. In the U2 program, in the early Mercury program, it was the tube foods had that delivery needle. see. And then it's funny. These pictures are pretty much, or these items are pretty much the same ones that are in the pictures we looked at earlier. This is the examples of food and hardware used on the Gemini 3 and Gemini 4 missions. And it looks like the same cube food and packaged meals that were in that photo we looked at just a bit ago. To provide food for the Gemini program that was more nearly like that eaten in an Earth environment, the freeze dehydration process was used. Freeze dehydration, or freeze drying, is a process in which moisture is removed from quick frozen food product without appreciably changing its shape, color, or taste. The process provides foods which can be rehydrated quickly within their own containers and which closely resemble the freshly prepared product in taste and texture. Foods prepared for freeze drying are sliced, diced, granulated, powdered, or liquefied to facilitate processing. After the food has been cooked or otherwise processed, it is quick frozen. The frozen food is then placed on drying trays, which are inserted into the special vacuum chamber where the pressure is reduced to 1500 microns of mercury or less. Heat is applied gradually through heating plates or coils, raising the temperature of the trays to 200 to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Temperatures are then gradually reduced so that the temperature of the dried product does not exceed 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Under these conditions, the ice crystals in the frozen product change directly from a solid to a gaseous state, a process called sublimation, and the vapor is withdrawn from the vacuum chamber through a condenser tube. The freeze-dried food emerges with a porous texture and is extremely lightweight, retaining only 2 or 3% of its original water content. In practically all cases, only water is removed by the freeze-drying process, and the essential oils and other carriers of flavor remain. The freeze-dried food is vacuum-packed in a 4-ply laminated plastic container similar to that used for bite-sized food. However, in this case, the container is fitted with a one-way spring-activated water injection valve at one end and a folded eating tube at the other end. In this type of container, freeze-dried food can be kept at room temperature for long periods of time. I don't think I actually knew that there's a spring within that valve, and I've always wondered that. So you can see on the end of each of these packages, there's a little white plastic piece that's in that that sleeve that's coming away from it, and that's not the side that the astronauts would eat from. They'd cut the opposite. So I always wondered, how when they put the needle through and inject the water in there, how does it not come back out when they remove it? And I just always assumed there'd be like a rubber gasket or something like that. But there's a spring-loaded valve that closes it back up. Oils remain. Yeah, well, I mean the non-water portion of the oils. Get a food packet, survival, general purpose, modern. Oh yeah. The bars are still used in those. Let's see, these peas. They actually look pretty appetizing to me. They're a decent color green. I don't know if that's coming through, but dried or date fruit cake, beef sandwiches, cheese sandwiches. Oh, we looked at these. I have the actual photo for that one. One meal overwraps with components. Apollo meal overwrap with components. Color code designates the type of meal. Personal hygiene material. Ooh, I have one of these things. So, okay, this is interesting. Actually, I have more than one. So, I'm not certain what this is, but I have that. And that's the washcloth. Also have that from these sundries kits. The one I have, or the set I have, is from Gemini 4. I wish I could read what's written on there. Let's see if the personal hygiene section talks about this. Nope. Nope. But it might just be soap. It's up there. I'm gonna leave it up there. Might just be soap. Just a little tiny bar of soap and a washcloth. Would make sense. And I have 2 of those and the washcloth. Was that this one? That was this one. That's food for space flight. And then we've got space food general collation. Oh, neat. So this is, it's a collated section of little educational briefs. So there's more than one in here. We have National Aeronautics and Space Administration Manned Spacecraft Center, Houston, Texas. Nutrition in Space, Project Gemini. So this is one of the earlier ones. So we've got all these meals being talked about for the Gemini program. I'm just seeing if any of these is what we have. No. None of these are the exact meal, but that's all right. That's on the menu for Gemini 4, Day 2, Meal 4 for Ed White. So this is a little less specific than that. And this is at the point where they were saying that the meals would just repeat every 4 days, which didn't end up being the case long term. Let's see, space food. Well, what was that last one called? Oh, okay. Food for use in space is this next one. Preparation of eggs by freeze drying. So look at that. Look at that freeze dryer in the 60s. About as scientific as any kitchen ever was. Space food specifications. Let's see. So here's another brief. Oh, and I think I may not have held them low enough for you to see the educational brief toppers on these. So just re-showing that. Oh. So let's see. Space food specifications, microbiological analysis. This is going to be a good one to actually read. I'm just going to stop here in case anybody wants to go back and pause and catch up on this one. I'm going to have to actually sit and read this one at some point, because this gets into the science of why some foods are okay and some foods aren't, and what they're trying to find out when they're actually making these variations of things over the years. Talking about contaminants, space food preparation, the freeze dehydration process. So this is all educational material, so that somebody writing an article or teaching a class can answer kids' questions, or the general public's questions, and go into a little more detail about the science behind what's happening or what's being used food-wise for these groundbreaking missions. Oh, here we go. A class demonstration for simple at-home freeze drying. So if Aletha, if you're still here, this might be a little less than $4,500. I'll pause on this for a minute. So apparently this was hey, Here's how you can put a freeze drying setup together and make a rudimentary freeze dryer in your classroom in the 60s. So this might not be too impossible. Seems like they want a bunch of Pyrex bottles and some liquid nitrogen. Oh, okay, so you do still need some liquid nitrogen. Okay, maybe not so quick and cheap. Food preparation, beef pot roast. Interesting. Specific guidelines have been established for the preparation of food for consumption by U.S. astronauts during spaceflight. The U.S. Army Natick Laboratories have supported the National Aeronautics and Space Administration by developing and publishing special guides for the production of foods suitable for spaceflight. These guides give rigid requirements for the selection, preparation, mixing, molding, and freeze dehydration of foods. Prescribed levels of moisture, oxygen, residue, and microbiological content are listed for finished products. So, pre-gelatinized starches, soup and gravy base, etc., etc., etc. Hydrogenated shortening, hydrolyzed vegetable protein, caramel color. Following formula is used to prepare the final product by weight, freeze drying at a maximum of 1.5 millimeters of mercury and a maximum temperature of the dry product and dehydrator of 120 Fahrenheit, etc., etc. Just there's a lot of good stuff in this overall packet. Food preparation, vegetables. So this goes into the freeze dehydration of vegetables for space. And here is the original food for spaceflight educational brief. So that's the one that we've seen, evolve over the years. And there's still other versions of that I need to find, throughout the shuttle era with more of the shuttle menus. One that was specific to just Mercury and doesn't mention Gemini. We'll see what we can find over the years. Oh, there's that original. That makes its rounds. And this one, actually, this looks to be pretty much this one right here. Or, wait, was it this one or was it this one? Not exactly. Almost the same. Almost. But that same set of menus for Gemini 3 and 4 pictures is still being used there. And this is a 2-day selection for Apollo missions. So this is kind of simplified, not necessarily exact meals. And the calories, I was always interested. The calories kind of jump all over the place. They're not shooting for roughly 800 or 900. They kind of dive around, although they are shooting for about 2,700 a day. And there's Apollo food and personal hygiene. Oh, okay. I get my wish. And this is chewing gum. I don't know if that's readable. There we go. That's readable. So, let's see. It says cleaning towel. And that little packet is chewing gum. I've been wondering, is it soap? Is it a sanitary chemical for use with the collection bags? Is it this? Is it that? But no, sir. It was, I think somebody even guessed. And it was in my short list of maybes, but now we know. These are chewing gum. These are astronaut chewing gum. And here we go is a sanitary towel. So that, let's see if you can catch that too. See if it picks it up. Yeah. It says skin cleaning towel is this item right here, and that's this item right here. And it was a very distinct type of towel. Lots of loops. The loops would hold the water in. And it unfolds, pretty large. There it is. Food and hygiene provisions. And that's my collection of space pamphlets and booklets related to food service specifically. Well, take care, Gunner. It looks like I ran over a little bit on the normal 2 hours, so I think I'm going to wrap it up. Let's see. Just trying to get your bedroom put back together after Daegu busted out of his cage. Uh-oh. What is... a rodent like a chinchilla? What is he? If he's not a chinchilla and he's like a chinchilla. I'm glad you had fun, Ben. I'm glad everybody seems to have had a good time. This was a particularly fun one, getting to go through some of the NASA stuff. Granted, I left myself a bit of a mess to clean up, but that's all right. He is a Daegu. Fair enough. So glad everybody came out and had a good time. So I will see you all again soon. Help spread the word in the meantime. We'll crack 30 soon, I'm sure. I appreciate everybody's efforts getting us here and coming out and chatting and engaging. So I think this was a really successful one personally. I hope to see you all again soon. And oh hey, how's it going, Citizen of Utopia? Good to see you there. I hope you had a good time. All right, everybody. I will talk to you again soon, and enjoy the beginning of December. One more month in 2020, and let's see if we all can focus hard enough to get 2021 on a slightly better track. So, great talking to everybody, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I'll see you all again soon.